but we're here to talk about the Trayvon Martin case, George Zimmerman case. So this year is the 10th year anniversary of Trayvon Martin's poor victim selection decision in targeting for grave bodily injury an armed man, George Zimmerman, simply an innocent member of his community, volunteering for Neighborhood Watch in a community that had been ravaged by burglaries and home invasions, stolen property in recent months. That's why they created a Neighborhood Watch program. Zimmerman volunteered. He was accepted by the police department, which oversaw these programs. He was trained by them. He followed his training to the letter. He did everything the police told him to do. And he got attacked by Trayvon Martin. And because this is the 10th year anniversary, it's kind of back in the news. Now, what happened? What happened when he was attacked by Trayvon Martin? Well, George Zimmerman was carrying a Kel-Tec 9mm pistol, and while he was getting his head beat into the sidewalk, he was on his back, mounted by Trayvon Martin, eyewitness testimony at trial, being beaten ground and pound. His jacket fell over. The gun became visible. Trayvon Martin saw the gun, threatened to kill George Zimmerman with it. So George drew the gun himself, fired a single round, struck Trayvon Martin in the chest, penetrated his heart, and killed him. And George Zimmerman would ultimately be brought to trial on second-degree malice murder charges in Florida on an utterly fraudulent information, which is the equivalent of a grand jury indictment. Utterly fraudulent, made unbelievably outrageous claims that were never repeated at trial. So this falsely sworn document is how they dragged George Zimmerman into a trial where the state had the burden of disproving self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt, and there was zero evidence inconsistent with self-defense in that trial. And appropriately so, George Zimmerman got acquitted. Of course, if you watch the news media coverage of the trial, you only heard the propaganda version of events. And the propaganda version was that George Zimmerman was a terrible racist who shot and killed a black child, for the crime of having Skittles and iced tea, of being black and wearing a hoodie, of being black in George Zimmerman's neighborhood. It was racism. That's why George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin. And of course, if that's what you were told and that's what you believed, you would consider the acquittal of George Zimmerman to be an outrageous injustice. It's when you know the truth that you realize what a vicious little thug Trayvon Martin was and how lucky George Zimmerman was to survive that conflict and be acquitted at trial of all charges. And by the way, George Zimmerman was acquitted and his life was utterly destroyed. He lost everything: his job, his wife, his life as he knew it,